everyone, welcome back. Today we'll be focusing on our beginner crafters and stampers. If you're new to making handmade cards, I know it can get overwhelming sometimes with all the different tools that you see on various YouTube pops and on Instagram or wherever you look for crafting ideas. I know sometimes those tools, there seems like there's so many. There are, but I want to break it down for you. Today we are going to focus on using a clear block, what it's for, clear stamps, and how to use those with the clear blocks, as well as the rubber cling stamps that we use with clear blocks as well. So let's get on into it, and I'll show you how to use those clear blocks. So before I begin showing you the clear blocks, this is typically what beginner stampers find. These are stamps on wooden blocks, and it has the red rubber stamp, and it's mounted to a wooden block. You can see they're beautiful designs. I do have several wooden block stamps, and I really like using those designs as well. But I want to first show you how to use the wooden block before I move into the clear block. So here I'm inking up the wooden block stamp, and I need to press several times just to get a good ink coverage. And then as I do that, you'll see as I go onto the paper to stamp it, I have to apply quite a bit of pressure as well. And unfortunately, sometimes with wooden blocks, if you don't apply the correct amount of pressure, you're going to see that the ink is not even throughout. There might be really light areas, but you can't really go over the inked image once you've stamped it with a wooden block, just because it would mess up the image if you tried, since you can't see directly through. So this is where the clear blocks and those clear stamps come in really handy. So I'm going to show you various sizes that I have. Some come with a grid. These are some small ones. Here's a regular square size. Some are different thickness depending on how much of a grip you like. This one is a little bit better for your hand when you're holding it to stamp. This Simon Says stamp one I really like because it's easy to grip with my fingers plus the grid. Here's a bigger, thinner one, and then a larger one for my larger stamps with a grid. The grid lines really help me. So here what you see, I'm going to stamp this little fairy image, and this is what we call cling stamps. So it looks just like the one that is mounted to the wooden block. However, I can see a little bit more through that than what I did the wooden block. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up just like I did for the wooden block stamp. And then I'm going to stamp it. These generally tend to stamp a little more evenly because you're able to press a little bit harder on that acrylic block. And you see that my image came out a really good, even inked color. So here is what I'm talking about when I say clear stamps. So that means you can see, just like it says, all the way through it. This is really handy whenever I'm stamping an image and I mess up or I don't get the ink evenly distributed, and I can generally see how to go back over that stamp. You see me changing out the block. I just change it out to match the stamp side. You're going to feel the smooth side needs to be flat on the block, and then the grooved side is what you ink up before you stamp. So I'm rubbing some ink over this image. I'm going to go over. Sometimes with clear stamps you have to go over just a little bit, or if it's a brand new one you need to wipe it off with a towel first just to kind of rough it up a little bit so it's not so new with the chemicals they use to make it. So here I'm stamping it, and you can see that the image is pretty clear with that ink. Now I'm showing you some different cleaners that I use to clean my stamps. I use these on my wooden blocks, on my cling stamps, the ones that were red rubber, and I also use them on my clear stamps. It gets it off clearly. You could use baby wipes. I use that a lot of times too, but if I'm wanting to save a little more, sometimes I'll just go ahead and use the Stays On ink cleaner. And then what I like about the stamp blocks that have the grid, I use those a lot whenever I am stamping a sentiment here. It helps me to get it lined up evenly. That way I'm not stamping on a card that I've spent a lot of time creating and then the image doesn't get clearly stamped. So you can see here as I go in, I don't put that much pressure. And then the sentiment that I stamp, the happy birthday sentiment, it comes out really clear. So that's how you use the clear block stamps. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Thank you for joining.